Fame looks flawless from the outside, but what if the spotlight hides more shadows than it reveals? This is the dark side of fame, what SB19 doesn't show you. Behind the cheers, cameras, and glittering stages, there's a silent battle few ever see. The price of perfection, the toll of pressure, the truth behind the smiles. In this video, we uncover the unseen reality of SB19's fame, the pain behind the power, the struggle behind the success. So before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this truth will change how you see SB19 forever. Before the lights, before the fame, SB19 were just 5 dreamers chasing a vision that felt impossible. From cramped rehearsal rooms to sleepless nights perfecting their craft, their journey began with nothing but grit, hope, and a shared belief that passion could break barriers. They rose from obscurity, creating a movement that redefined what it means to be a Filipino act on the world stage. Every performance, every lyric, carried the heartbeat of a generation hungry for inspiration. Their smiles looked effortless, their energy unstoppable, but even in the earliest days, the demands were already immense. Behind every victory was exhaustion, and behind every success was sacrifice. Fame began to grow faster than they could breathe. And soon, the dream they once loved started to evolve into something heavier, something that would test their strength, friendship, and humanity itself.
As SB19's fame exploded, so did the expectations. Every note, every step, every word suddenly mattered, not just to them, but to millions watching. They were no longer just artists, they had become symbols of national pride. The pressure to stay perfect grew suffocating. Every performance had to be flawless, every public appearance immaculate. A single mistake could spark endless criticism online. Even moments of rest felt like guilt, because the world demanded more energy, more smiles, more perfection. For the members, the weight of expectation slowly blurred the line between passion and performance. The very success they had once prayed for began to feel like a silent burden, pressing on their shoulders day and night. And as the cheers got louder, so did the quiet question in their hearts. How long can anyone truly stay strong under this kind of spotlight? Behind the glittering success in sold-out arenas, SB19 faced battles the world never saw. The cameras captured their energy, but not their exhaustion. Days blurred into nights filled with endless rehearsals, interviews, and schedules that left little room to breathe. The demand for perfection became an unspoken rule, pushing them beyond limits, both physical and emotional. There were moments of quiet breakdowns behind closed doors, times when fatigue and doubt crept in, yet the world only saw their smiles. The fans saw the fire, but not the scars it left. Every cheer on stage echoed through the silence backstage, where rest was a luxury and peace was rare. In chasing the dream they once cherished, they were slowly learning the truth. Fame doesn't always free you. It can also cage you. And as the pressure built higher, another challenge began to rise. The loss of something every human craves most: privacy. Fame, once a dream, soon became a spotlight that never turned off. Every step SB19 took was watched, recorded, and analyzed. Their private lives became public property, dissected by strangers online. A simple walk outside could ignite rumors. A single facial expression could spark controversy. Even genuine friendships were questioned, and every word they spoke was magnified into headlines. The very love of fans, so pure and powerful, sometimes became suffocating.
It was no longer easy to just be themselves because the world demanded to define who they were. Behind the laughter of interviews and the glow of stage lights, they carried the quiet ache of losing something irreplaceable, their right to simply live without judgment. Fame had elevated them, but it had also exposed them. And in this fragile balance between love and intrusion, SB19 began to realize that even adoration can have a darker side. As the spotlight grew brighter, so did the shadows it cast within. The members of SB19, adored by millions, often found themselves battling unseen storms. The pressure to smile through exhaustion, To stay strong while feeling weak took a toll that fame could never heal. They were nights of quiet reflection, wondering if their dreams had somehow turned into chains. Loneliness became familiar even in a crowd of thousands. When the curtain fell and the noise faded, what remained was the deafening silence of self-doubt. Could they ever live up to the impossible image the world had built around them? Success had given them everything they ever wanted except peace. In the chase for greatness, they realized the cruel paradox of fame. The higher you rise, the more fragile your heart becomes. And as emotions ran deep, another battlefield emerged, one not on stage, but in the boundless world of social media. In the digital age, fame lives and dies online, and SB19 knew that reality all too well. Every post, every word, every gesture became fuel for endless opinions. One tweet could spark a storm. One rumor could twist into a wildfire. Hate comments, fan wars, and online scrutiny became part of their daily lives. The same internet that built their empire also tested their resilience. It wasn't just about music anymore. It was about surviving the noise.
Yet through the chaos, they stayed silent more often than not, choosing grace over reaction. But silence, too, had a cost. It meant carrying the weight of words that cut deep. The screen, once their stage, had turned into a mirror, reflecting both love and judgment. Still, they kept moving forward, knowing that authenticity was their only weapon left. And in that fight to stay true, they faced their next great challenge, holding on to who they really were. In a world that demands perfection, authenticity can feel like rebellion. For SB19, staying true to themselves became both their greatest challenge and their greatest triumph. The spotlight wanted idols, but they were human beings with flaws, fears, and fragile moments. Every decision had to balance artistry with image, truth with expectation. They longed to speak freely, to show their real emotions, but the fear of misunderstanding loomed. Behind every performance was the quiet question: are we still ourselves, or just the version the world wants us to be? Yet through music, they found honesty. Their lyrics began to reflect vulnerability. Their performances carried raw emotion, and slowly, they reclaimed their narrative. It wasn't about being perfect anymore. It was about being real. And through that courage, they inspired countless others to embrace imperfection too. But in the darkest chapters of their fame, one thing remained unbroken: the unshakable bond that held them together: brotherhood. Through every sleepless night, every controversy, and every tear behind the stage, SB19 found strength in each other. What fame tried to divide, Brotherhood refused to let fall apart. They laughed together when the world criticized them. They lifted each other when Exhaustion nearly won. Their connection wasn't built on fame. It was forged in struggle, sweat, and shared dreams. When one stumbled, the others carried him forward. That unity became their armor, shielding them from the chaos outside. The fans, too, became part of that circle of strength, a global family that reminded them why they began this journey in the first place. Amid the noise and pressure, Brotherhood became their anchor, a quiet reminder that success means nothing without the people who walk beside you. And through that loyalty and love, SB19 transformed pain into power. Yet even as they rose above their hardships, the shadows of fame still whispered lessons the world needed to hear. Fame may have tested SB19 in ways no one could imagine, but it also revealed their greatest strength: their humanity. From exhaustion to resilience, from criticism to courage, they've shown that vulnerability is not weakness, it's truth in its purest form. Their journey through the dark side of fame became a lesson for all of us, that even when the world demands perfection, staying real is what truly inspires hearts. Their story teaches that dreams aren't just about applause, they're about endurance, faith, and finding light when everything seems heavy. The shadows didn't destroy SB19, they defined them. Through every silent battle, they learned that the truest kind of success isn't measured by fame,
but by how deeply you touch lives while staying true to yourself. And as their music continues to echo worldwide, it carries with it the message that pain, when embraced, can turn into the most powerful form of art. So, the next time you see their dazzling smiles, remember the battles fought behind them. Remember that even in fame's darkest corners, light can still shine, because SB19 never stopped being real. And that authenticity is what makes their story timeless, powerful, and unforgettable. Tap like, share this video, and subscribe, because stories like SB19's deserve the world's spotlight.